still Breakfast Central on News Central today, Wednesday, the 20th day of November 2019. Right then, don't forget we are on social media at News Central TV on Twitter, Instagram, not forgetting meeting us on Facebook, watching us live on YouTube, and also logging on to the website www.newscentral.africa. And let's go to a story that clearly has made the rounds in recent months this year. In June, a video of Busola Dakolo, the wife of Nigerian musician Timi Dakolo, went viral. She spoke about her alleged rape by Pastor Biodun Fatoyinbo, the senior pastor of Commonwealth of Zion Assembly, popularly called COZA in Nigeria. Now, months after the ordeal, on Thursday, 14th November, a federal high court sitting in Abuja, well, throughout the case, which was filed by Timi Dakolo's wife, Lady Busola Dakolo. Now, according to the judge, Oathman A. Musa, the matter amounts to injustice and on abuse of judicial process, adding that the case is empty and purely sentimental. Well, Justice Musa also said that the case was aimed more at cruelty than obtaining justice. Now, in legal terms, a dismissed case means that a lawsuit is closed with no finding of guilt and no conviction for the defendant in a criminal case by a court of law. Now, even though the defendant was not convicted, a dismissed case does not prove that the defendant is factually innocent for a crime for which he or she was allegedly to have done. The dismissed case will still remain on the defendant's criminal record. Right, really to dig deeper into all of this, I'm joined by Ayoola Julius, who's a legal practitioner here based in Lagos. Well, Ayoola, first of all, from a legal angle, where are we now with this case? It's played out in so many ways. It's played out in the judicial system. It's also played out in the media when that interview was granted by Mrs. Dakolo, and also on social media where lots of opinions, have been divided. Let's not mix it all up. Let's see if we can, simmer down where we are right now as regards the ruling from the judge. And if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, there was all of the talk about statutes of limitations on this case. So tell us more.
Well, it's quite unfortunate that the ruling of the court came the way it came. But that is
unfortunate for the claim
for the claimant.
The claimant.
Let me use the word claimant, referring to Busola Dakolo now. It's unfortunate that the case came the way it is. But then there's nothing the court could have done. When we talk about justice, we also talk about jurisdiction.
Okay.
Now, when you talk about jurisdiction, a lot of things come into play. Okay. One of those things is you having to initiate your complaint or your claim within a particular window. Following the right process. So what the judge has done basically is to say, look, there's a law in Abuja, the limitation law, that makes provision for you to bring your claim within a particular period of time. If that time has lapsed, unfortunately, there's nothing anybody can do about it.
And in Nigeria, what specifically that time amounts to? Is it 6 years or 3 years?
6 years.
6 years.
In some cases, 6 years. In some cases, 12 years. It depends on the claim before the court. But in this particular instance, Busola Dakolo is alleging a breach of personal rights. She's not even alleging rape.
Okay.
And the civil case, this is a civil case. It's a civil case. What went to court is a civil case,
not a criminal case.
Not the criminal part.
Okay.
Of course, sometimes there can be transactions that will have both criminal and civil aspects, and the two can run concurrently.
Yeah, but that did not happen in this.
No. What happened in this case is just the civil aspect of the case.
Okay, that was filed.
Yeah, that was filed. And what the judge is trying to say is that you waited too long in coming. And with a lot of press sensations, a lot of damage might have been done to the other party.
That was why compensation.
That wasn't compensation. It's called cost.
Cost. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes when a case is dismissed on the basis that the case ought not to have been filed in the first place, you put the other party into unnecessary expense. So it's part of our system for such a party to be awarded cost. So I won't say compensation.
Okay.
When we say compensation, then we are talking about compensation that must be on merit.
On merit.
The matter was not had on merit.
Okay.
It was dismissed at the preliminary stage. And the ground for dismissing it is very simple. time has caught up with you. Bukola waited too long.
Now this is there's a statement here from I think her Instagram handle, and it talks about awareness is victory. I will just read it out quickly. It says, I have just been briefed by my lawyers on the court's ruling in the matter before it's pertaining to my stand against injustice represented by the reprehensible actions of Mr. Biodun Fatoyinbo, and in light of the present and anticipated injuries from friends, family, and well-wishers, it is pertinent to convey my sincere reaction to said ruling. It says here, when I set about confronting one of my biggest fears and a horrible experience from my past, the first hurdle was finding the confidence to victims usually do not find a place for their voice, certainly not in our deeply conservative country where might is right and a virtue, while innocence is a license for abuse and disregard. I had no illusions about the Herculean task before me in not only openly, and because it is a lengthy one, it says the substance of the suit, which is my allegations of sexual abuse leading to emotional distress of my person against Mr. Biodun Fatoyinbo, has neither been entertained by the court nor ruled upon. I believe that the effect of the injurious claim is a continuous one that transcends time and place. As this has only made me to wonder more what a country we have. I was particularly surprised at the hearing of the case when the court said the file was missing, and later when the court said my own processes cannot be found, and finally the case is out of time. This only shows that we have a lot to address to bring sanity to our country. Today I'm glad that my voice is not silenced, and this is victory for me. Okay, so she's talked about injurious claim and continuous ones that transcend time and place. As a legal practitioner, what's your opinion on the close of that statement? That part of the statement from Bukola. Yeah, go on. Go.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate again that Busola is playing the victim card. That is not a nice one to do.
Okay.
She can't be playing the victim card if the matter has gone to court and the court has given a ruling. Of course, there's victory for her in the sense that she has given other people.
Yeah, but she's talking about, I think trying to address about the injurious claim.
No, we can't be talking about injurious claim. Such an expression should not be used because the court just gave a ruling.
Okay.
Which is that there's no claim. So injurious claim now will be
continuous claim.
Continuous claim or injurious claim shouldn't be the appropriate expression. I'm not saying she wasn't a victim, but having gone to court, she can't be playing the victim card. Nonetheless, she has a victory in the sense that she has opened up the sesame, giving other people the opportunity to come out. Because there must be a lesson to be taken away from this transaction. Okay. The lesson to be taken away is that you don't have to keep quiet. You just have to come out in good time. And one of the reasons, and she also, alleged that she's still suffering some form of continuous injury. Unfortunately, I'm not privy to the pleadings before the court, and I'm sure possibly she didn't file any medical documents showing that she's been treated for some.
Would that have, helped the?
Of course, because what are we talking about? We are talking about a law that says you have to bring your claim within 6 years. Now, your course of action will arise within 6 years, okay? Of when you cease to have that injury or that emotional distress. You can't lay claim to that emotional distress that happened to you 16 years ago if today there is no medical evidence showing that you are being treated for some nervous injuries or emotional distress. You have to come forward with some papers. She didn't come forward with some papers. She let the case swim basically on sentiment.
Are we sure her lawyers didn't file any?
Of course, they didn't file any. If they filed any, I'm sure the judge wouldn't have reasoned that way. They brought the case on sentiment. Case get done on sentiment. Everything's based on evidence.
So now that we are right now with the judge's ruling, is they've also been talks in quarters, especially in the press, that maybe perhaps they're seeking redress in a higher court. Is there a way to take it beyond that, or does it end? Does this really end here with the Fatoyinbo Mrs. Dakolo case?
Well, if I were to have an audience, I would advise her to let it go and she should just focus on the criminal aspect of the case.
Okay.
Because there's
that criminal aspect, what would that then mean?
The criminal aspect is that we're talking about rape here.
Okay.
And rape is a serious offense in Nigeria. It carries life imprisonment. And the police are not stopped or don't have a time lag within which they can investigate any crime.
So is that a course of action you would advise if you were the counsel?
Yes, I would like her to press more on the police to conduct a proper investigation into the allegation. Although there may be a lot of hurdles to be scaled, because when you're talking about rape, there must be corroboration. You know,
or is chasing that line of action on the criminal case? Is it the burden of evidence that
exactly
needs to be presented?
You know, the police need to have something concrete before they go to court. Otherwise, they'll be met with. No case submission.
Do I get the sense that because you're a legal practitioner, you're saying that her legal team knew that chasing a criminal proceeding would have this hurdle, and that's why they went for a civil one instead?
I don't want to be recorded as demarketing a colleague or a lawyer.
Okay.
He must have had his reasons for taking that line of action. But for me, the line of action was not rich enough. If you are going to sue, for instance, in what we call nervous shock, I think it's a third-party tort. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
There must be some medical evidence showing that the nervous shock you are suffering is as a result of that activity. Assuming that Busola Dakolo said, look, even 20 years ago, it happened 20 years ago, but up to now, I just can't function properly. I've been going from one psychiatrist to the other. I've been attending different counseling sessions. I can't even enjoy my marriage because each time I get to...
But you need to present this not on sentiment, but based on
you need to bring this
record
as a fact in terms
and
of
facts remains medical
evidence, because you're talking about something that happened 20 years ago.
Showing treatments, course of treatment, diagnosis from a medical person, psychological therapy, or some form of treatment that's going on.
I can tell you for real, no judge would throw it away.
Okay,
but just leaving it open-ended, and the fact that that's also played out on social media makes it look as if somebody's out to do damage to someone's personality. That's the way any judge will reason it out. But it will be different, like I said, if there are medical evidence.
That's taken from a civil perspective.
Yes, the civil perspective now.
And this kind of evidence can it be viable? Can it be presentable in a criminal?
Yeah, you see, that the idea of that evidence is to support what she was saying earlier. That is the theory of continuous injury.
Okay.
Oh, it happened 20 years ago, but I am yet to have a closure. How do you mean? The last 15 years, I've been going shopping from one psychiatrist to the other, attending some counseling session every now and then. I'm not even able to enjoy my husband's society.
Okay.
Because when you talk about marriage, you talk about sex. Each time we have to have sex, I find it so difficult to get down. Because I think somebody's coming to ravage me.
All right, we will take a breather this way. We'll come back to this matter. And I'd also like to get your thoughts about what, like other aspects, because this is a landmark case and perhaps a landmark ruling, many will say, in this part of Africa, in this part of Nigeria, based on not just the severance of, the accusation or the personalities of both parties involved, but how it played out in social media and indeed the media. We'll take a quick one and we'll come back. Still Breakfast Central on News Central. Right, then welcome back to Breakfast Central on News Central. We still have a legal practitioner in the house, Ayoola Julius. We're talking about the recent ruling from the court with the Fatoyinbo and Mrs. Dakolo case. And you've been giving some good insight as to why it was thrown out and perhaps the angles which Mrs. Dakolo can find redress. And you talk about filing perhaps a civil. In your experience, do you see this continuing?
The civil aspect of the case?
Yeah.
Like I said initially, I would advise that they should just let it go.
Okay.
The most important thing has been done. She has come out to say she was a victim And our coming out will be a voice to many other victims out there who feel, look, I'm too big to come out. What will people say?
Or too small.
Or too small to come out. I'm not a celebrity. I don't have to come out. A lot of people are going through sexual harassment, defilement, even rape. And our understanding of rape in Nigeria is a bit limited, you know. We always think that rape comes with violence. Rape need not come with violence. Rape is giving your consent to a sex that otherwise you wouldn't have given. So even if you told me you were going to deliver me and you have to sleep with me and I allow you to do that, in the end it's rape. Because as my pastor, you have undue influence over me.
Or perhaps a friend or boyfriend or male.
Yes. Because the way people play this issue of consent is not...
And generally the debate about sexual harassment and the kind of maybe getting reprieve, getting justice from a legal system.
The law is there. You see, even in Lagos State, I can tell you for rape, there's a law that addresses not only rape,
harassment,
sexual harassment in workplaces. But people don't go out to complain. They don't want to complain. And of course, you can't blame them. Sometimes they just want to secure their jobs. Because when you go to complain, you will end up losing that job. A potential employer may not consider you for employment. They will possibly say, oh, she's cantankerous. She took her last employer to court over sexual harassment and what have you. You know? So those are the challenges that we have in the system. And unless people begin to come out.
Okay, so the system is there to address. So the system
there's a law.
There's a law, but it's not being used.
In Nigeria, we have so many laws.
For everything.
Almost everything, but we don't get to use them. People just sit in their hands and say, I will leave it to God. God will judge. You just have to come out because God already gave us laws that we can apply to address some of these concerns, you know. But when you don't come out, or when you come out at the wrong time without having your facts together, the court is not a magician.
Yeah, and the reason why we're talking about this, you think it, because this is just played out on a high-profile spectrum based on the way it played in the media and social media, do you think it's going to really serve a precedent with this one, based on not just the personalities but the way it's gone? Because it looks like everyone in the media and has talked about it and flogged it one way or the other. You think this will even serve as a incitement for maybe perhaps a future?
It's unfortunate it won't serve as anything than for awareness because there's no deterrence here.
Yeah.
If, for instance, the judge had said, "Look, I want to hear this case on the merits," maybe
because it never made it to hearing.
Maybe the outcome will serve as deterrence to other people. You get what I'm saying? But as it is, we can only take away lessons. And the lesson is that do not keep quiet. Don't keep quiet. Don't say people won't believe me. Because most of the victims, their challenge basically is, how will I say this man raped me? How will people believe me?
Or harassed me.
They will ask me, why did I go there in the first place? Why was I there in the car alone with him? Why didn't I go with someone? You don't ask those questions when you're talking about rape or any sexual offense. You get what I'm saying?
The severity, it's quite a huge...
just need to come out. And the women NGOs in Lagos or in Nigeria need to step up their game. The awareness need to be taken serious.
Yeah, so the culture, so this might only serve in breaking the culture of silence.
That is the takeaway.
Okay. Before we go, we'll take this. Those people have been talking stuff on Twitter, and I think it's another interesting one, that we looked at. We might just have to run with. This is from Imo, who's actually another legal practitioner, who says one will think the 14 November ruling would address these two contentions, but rather bizarrely, the judge was completely silent on this point. The continuous injury exception is a key basis upon which Busola's case was advanced, and the judge curiously left it unaddressed. Do you agree with that?
He's not speaking advisedly, because, we just said for you to talk about continuous injury, there must be something concrete on which...
On which. Now, she continues here and says, this, for me, amongst other witnesses, is where the Court of Appeal will fault the judge's decision. It is, however, difficult to tell where the Court of Appeal will ultimately swing, even if they find a silent omission by the judge to be fatally erroneous. So,
if the case goes to appeal, I see the judgment being upheld.
Okay.
Of course, the judge need not have gone into some areas the court went into, because those areas, such as the suit being malicious, being cruel, and designed to occasion injustice, a statement that shouldn't have been said, because unless you have had a case on merit, There is no way you could have come to such a conclusion. Okay. Aside that, the judge was right.
And I think maybe this might be the last one from it says, does the case of RMO second and Adekoya says, okay, she's citing another case. Busola does her case found in the face of the holding. Okay, she's citing 2 other cases. Says this will now be for the Court of Appeal to decide. Says fingers crossed, people, there might have been a delay in this case, but the delay might not be a denial. So I think she's,
those cases are not going to be of any help because they are premised on the continuous injury theory.
Okay.
Like I said, for you to claim continuous injury theory, 16 years ago, between that time and now,
we need to see.
What did you do to yourself? Were you taking out medical? Are you seeing people that are skilled?
Yeah, but there's also a school of thought that talks about, his denial, whether in the court or in the media in any space, subject to.
That would be petty.
Signals more injury
that he denied in the press
on the claimant.
Means that the case is alive. No, it's not enough. He has his right to defend his personality.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what he did by coming out with a press statement saying, "I never raped."
Yeah, I never did this, whatever.
Nobody can know for certain whether he did or he did not. That's why they need to put a lot of pressure on the police to ensure that they get to the root of the matter.
Should they be taken to a criminal matter?
It's not for them to be taken. They don't have, it's not a choice that they have. By law, police is set up to investigate crime.
To have moved in.
Yes, they should be investigating the crime as we speak.
Yeah.
And even if you say, please don't investigate, you can't say that. They will still investigate.
So,
but at the end of the day, I doubt very much if anything serious will come out of the criminal investigation, even though the police have
limited.
They are unlimited in terms of time and what have you. Nothing really good will come out of it. Well, but the most important thing, like we keep saying, is that she came out to say, I was a victim.
Yeah.
Other victims who are within 2-3 years can still come out. They don't have to get medical evidence to say they were suffering from any post-traumatic stress.
Okay.
But for 16, 20 years, you need to come out and show us that you've been treated for something.
We've all learned a thing or two from this.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Julius Ayoola. It's been quite really insightful on this, and I'm sure those watching will take in a nugget or two.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.